Fortunately, we didn't check to the new topic. We just checked the exercise. Okay, but well, anyway, I will send you the answers later on by Edmodo. Hi, for Yadira, for example, who didn't attend the class, who didn't attend the previous exam. But don't worry, well, they can do their best because the video is lost. I will continue. If you still continue having such problems, please let me know. Okay, now, as I was telling you, that we're going to be talking about learner needs. Okay, so here we have the kind of need, and we have the reason for this need. Okay, so the first one, kind of need, personal needs. These are some examples of personal needs. We can have it for security, that means to, to be more confident when talking, as a challenge sometimes, right? Some people like to take challenge, like this year I'm going to learn English, at least the basic, and because of that challenge they start learning. Support, right? Just because they want help or they want to help someone else. For praise, that means like for themselves, to feel comfortable with themselves. Movement, that they are going to move from one city to another. Okay, goals, the same, it's similar, but goals are less let's say are more thinkable, let's say. Okay, learning expectations. Okay, so maybe we want to get a 10 in the I don't know, in the English subject, or because you want to know how much you can learn about this. Other psychological or physical needs. Okay, reason for needs, for example, because of age. I have many I don't know how to say, many students that they think that they need to learn English because they are kind of old, because maybe they are 30 and they don't speak at all and they need to improve themselves. Or the opposite, right? Because they are children and many parents learn, or they themselves, they want to learn English because they think that if they learn one language since they're very young, they will continue learning more and more, right? Gender, right? So most of them say, no, I am a man, and it because one day I'm going to provide him money. I know this is very machista, but maybe some people think like that, right? And they say, well, I need to learn English because one day I'm going to provide money to my wife, and I need to know the language because that will give me more money. I don't know, maybe it's just an option. Okay, cultural background. Okay, because maybe the city in which you are studying, uh, most people learn or know how to speak English, right? And then you want to be part of that culture. Interest, okay, because you saw that the new movie of the saga Harry Potter is coming, but you don't. It is said that it's going to be only in English, but totally in English. So then you start learning because you want to watch the movie without subtitles. Okay, educational background, as I was telling you, because of the school situation and so on. Motivation, just because you feel motivated to do it. And personality, okay, because you want to increase your personality. Maybe you want to be more confident, as I was telling you. Okay, now learning needs. Specific ways of learning, specific target language, specific language of the skills, exams, strategies, learner autonomy, working at a suitable level. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about educational stuff. For example, the exam strategies. You want to learn English because you need to know you want to know what will be the best strategy for passing an exam, maybe. Okay, that is your case, teachers. You are taking this TKT course because you want to develop all these strategies and learn all those concepts in order to pass your exam. Okay, or for example, specific language sub skills. Okay, maybe you just want to speak, as I was telling you. Some students, they just want to speak, so they want to learn English just for speaking, and so on. Okay, so reasons for this need, maybe because of past language, because they say, oh, I was very good at English, so why not taking one more time? Okay, learning gap because they want to complete all the things that maybe they were not clear for them and they need to continue learning more. Okay, learning goals and expectations for the course. Okay, so in your case, what is your goal? Well, getting the exam. Okay, that's the reason why you need this course, right? Level of skill language. Some of these needs are because you want to know the level of your language. Available of time, availability of time, exams, and so on. Okay, and finally, professional needs or future professional needs, specific soft skills, specific vocabulary and grammar, specific function, and specific text types. In this case, one more time is for a specific situation. For example, a professional need. You want to be a psychologist. Okay, what you need to develop? The sub skill or the skill of reading, basically, because you will read lots of theories, and most of the theories are written in English. Okay, so you want to read about Noam Chomsky, you want to read about Freud, or and so on. Maybe all those lectures are in English. Okay, specific vocabulary. You want to be a doctor. Okay, you need to know lots of vocabulary, but focus on how to say a doctor, how to say all the illnesses, the medicine, and so on. Okay, so in this case, that's the point. And finally, reasons for this need, maybe because of a professional language requirement for employment in our education. Maybe you are in the university and the reason is you want to be a doctor. That's it. Okay, you need the English to develop the certain skills. Okay, thank you, Caroline. Thank you for telling me that the problem continues. I don't know what's going on, huh? But let me know, please, Francisco and Judith, if you have the same problem. Please. Maybe it's because of the earphones. Maybe they are not working properly. I don't know. For you, it's okay. Thank you, Francisco. Let's see about Judith. She's answering. Okay, Judith says that she also has the same problem. Okay, so I think in this case, Caroline and Judith, maybe you can stop your connection. Now it's your turn. Stop your connection and try it again. Maybe the problem is your computer or your cell phone or the place where you are. Maybe I'm talking that maybe that's the problem. So you can try it. I can wait for you like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, thank you, Judith. So you stay. So you understand. Maybe you have some problems, but you understand. But if you want to try it, Caroline, you can try it. You can um, log out, and I'm going to wait for you 2 or 3 minutes maximum. And then I will continue. It's okay for now. Okay, good. Maybe like interferences are every single time. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can come to Tasco for one personalized class. You are very well invited to come to Tasco. Okay, and we can talk and when we can discuss and I can meet you personally. That will be so nice. So you are totally invited, whenever you want. Okay, maybe for the end of the course, maybe for the end of the course, maybe you can come and you can do the exam here and I can explain you more and so on. And maybe after the exam, after the sample, we called it mock. After the mock, maybe we can have some dinner or something like that. We can go out, hang out through the city and so on. That will be so nice. But we have some time to prepare it. Okay, now let's continue. Now, we as teachers, okay, we need to deal with learner needs. As I was telling you, um, we need to be focused that it's not only our way of teaching, Okay, I know that each of you has a different way of teaching. Next class, we're going to be talking about methods. And you know that methods require a certain role or certain specifications about the teacher. Okay, so but so far let's just discuss about you as the teacher, how you need to deal with learner needs. Okay, so most teachers need to create activities or an activity based courses according to learners need. Okay, so it's not about you, it's about them. Remember that they are the most important part when teaching or when having a class. Many schools are also adapted. For example, nowadays, something that is very common and something that we will be talking next class is about content and language integrated learning that is called CLIL. Okay, now this is offered to students needing to learn another subject in another language. Okay, so nowadays, as you know, or as you have noticed, maybe many schools are bilingual. They teach mathematics, sciences, history, geography, but in English. Okay, so this is called CLIL. Indeed, there is a specific TKT for CLIL. Remember that there are three modules. Module one, that is this one that we're taking. Then we're going to go module two, then module three, and then module four, which is CLIL. Okay, in this case, I'm not going to provide you this course, but if you want to try it, you can also try this CLIL. Anyway, I will continue. Teacher can address learners' needs by choosing suitable materials and topics. Okay, different materials is not the same materials for children than for adults. Okay, topics maybe for children are more interesting topics. Okay, than for adults, right? Maybe adults want to know about economy or about their professions. So you need to use more technical or abstract meanings. Okay, approach technique or teaching, which means activity based, basically that you organize all the steps of one activity, the introduction, the warm up, and so on. Pace, speed of lesson. Okay, that means that you need to know if you want to look at this topic in a shorter time or in a longer time. Activities, obviously you need to organize them. There's another way. Treatment of individual learners. This is a little bit more complicated, and especially for those big schools with big classrooms, right? With lots of students. But sometimes, maybe once a while, try to interact or try to give individual feedback to your students, like, hey, you need to work on this, or try to do this exercise online so that they can see that you are also worried about themselves personally. Okay, skills and language. Okay, so you need to choose the skill. For example, maybe you will focus more on reading instead of speaking and writing, or maybe more in listening and speaking, maybe. Okay, interaction patterns. For example, the whole class, group, pair work. Okay, so if you think that maybe for doctors, maybe it's more useful to work alone, maybe. Or maybe for you, for doctors, it's better to work in groups and so on. So you will decide. Okay, types of feedback means comments on learning. Okay, maybe you will give the feedback at the end of each unit, or maybe you will give feedback at the end of the whole units. Okay, maybe there are 4 units, and then you will look until the last four, and so on. Okay, so this is what you need to be aware on. So far so good. Questions or problems about this topic, teachers? I need to know about kinds of needs. Remember, we have three: personal learning and professional needs, the most common ones, and the things that you need to do as teachers. Tell me, do you have a question or a problem about this topic? Okay, thank you, Caroline. So as you can see, Caroline, for example, you told me that you studied English because you wanted to communicate. So in this case, what do you think is the kind of need? Was it personal? Was it for learning, or was it for professional thing? And you too, Francisco, tell me, and Judith, if possible, tell me, what kind of learner or need you got for this? And the reason. Yeah, and personal, very nice, Caroline. You didn't imagine maybe at the beginning that you will become a teacher. Okay, maybe at the beginning it didn't pass on your mind that you will be a teacher, maybe. So you just wanted, what was the reason? Because of cultural background. Uh-huh. And I think Judith has answered. No, she hasn't. But anyway. Okay, in your case, Francisco, you wanted to learn English because of learning, because maybe you want to have a language experience on what, or you want to get a goal, which was to become a teacher, right? And professional, well, now because you are a teacher and you need to know all the bases about English and so on. Very, very nice. Okay, so tell me, what of these activities? Or let's be honest, do you always care about your students? Do you always look at your learners needs, or most of the times, or sometimes, or hardly ever? What matters more for you, a syllables to complete a plan, a lesson plan, or to attack those learner needs? Tell me, teachers. Okay, let me share something to you. Judith told me that she has a professional career in arts. Very nice, Judith. I didn't know that. And most of the books and software are in English. So for her, this was more for educational or learning, and professional. Okay, learning because she needed to know the language, and professional because of the profession of arts. Very nice, Judith. Very nice. Okay, so you didn't answer to me, teachers. Tell me, do you usually or do you often care about learners' needs, about your students' needs? Most of the time, okay? And for example, what of these activities, Caroline? What of these activities do you normally adapt to your classes? For example, you might say, teacher, I most of the times check the materials. I most of the times adapt the activities with games. Most of the times. Okay, so what of these activities do you take into account when teaching? Okay, so you can see that you can adapt the activities, and you have an approach teaching because your activity is based on games, right? Very nice. What else? Very good. So you also talk about topics, maybe because the topic maybe it's about animals this time, and you have vocabulary. Very nice. Excellent. And obviously adapted to their age. What about you, Francisco? What do you usually do from these activities? What do you adapt in your classes? Okay, Judith says that not really. She doesn't really cares about students. Don't worry, Judith. It's the same as me. I wish I could focus on their needs, but I have lots of students, and you know that most of the times they have different kind of needs. Some of them have personal, some of them have learning, and we have a syllabus, and our principals ask us to finish that syllabus, right? So sometimes we cannot be divided into 100 pieces and talk to each student and adapt all the activities because of time and so on. So don't worry, I totally understand you, Judith. You are the same like me. Okay. Francisco told me that usually try to combine the program with the student needs. Okay. Can you give me an example, Francisco? How you combine the program with the students' needs? This is very important because next class we're going to be talking about method. And we're going to see that some methods have developed themselves and they are now more suitable for students. I know, Caroline. But tell me, Francisco, I'm very curious about how you combine the program with the student needs. Give me an example or explain me how you do it in few words. Hmm. I understand, Judith. I understand how you feel. Yeah, you also use games for learning in order so that every single child gets integrated, right? I do the same. I do the same. Who did? Okay, Francisco is answering. I think he has a very, very nice he has something to say. Yes, Judith. There is one recommendation for teachers that you can do kind of a questionnaire at the beginning of a course, and you can ask them, right, even in their mother language. Why not? Because they are children, right? So maybe they don't have like a real side of the world of English, right? So you can just tell them like, what do you want to learn in this course? Do you want me to use pictures? Do you want me we do more dialogues, games, and so on? And maybe from that research, maybe you can get what you need, what your students need. And maybe as Francisco said, adapt the program to their needs and to the activities and to the results and so on. So it's like a continuum. Okay. So Francisco told me I try to. Okay, Francisco says that in the program they work with social practices specifically. I try to mix activities to learn and can appropriate the language. Okay, so it's basically the same, right? Like to apply this to their real life. I don't know. For example, they are looking at the topic of animals. Okay, and then they see the most common animals: dogs, cats, rabbits, and so on. And then maybe you will ask them to talk about their pets, right? So now you are relating the topic of animals with pets. That is their real context. Okay. So very nice, Francisco. Good that you do this kind. Maybe it's more difficult than that, I'm sure, but that's the main idea. Right, Francisco? This is basically the main idea. Very good. So you use mind maps and so on. Yeah, I know that it's much, much more difficult, but it's kind of the idea. Okay, now let's go with an extra activity. I hope this is clear for you. If not, let me know so that I can read to you. I'm going to explain you the instructions, and if you have a doubt, please let me know. Look at this description of two learners. Make notes on their possible learning needs in the English classroom. What will be the best kind of course for them? Okay, so you have to do two tasks. First, the first task is to check what is their possible learning needs. Maybe you said that the first one is for learning or personal or professional. Or for Kulap, maybe it's more professional or maybe more for learning. I don't know. This is the first task. Second task, you need to tell me what is the best kind of course for them. Maybe you will say an online course, or maybe you will say a course with, I don't know, with bilingual, maybe, so that you can combine mathematics, history, like Clear Classroom, maybe, or I don't know. Okay, you can explain yourselves. It doesn't have to be like very long. It has to be very short. Just I want you to tell me what kind of teaching or learning they need, what kind of teaching they need, and what would be the best, let's say, environment, the best course for them to take. Okay, so you have the description here about Pillar and about Cool Up. And tell me, please, teachers, do you have a question about this exercise? Francisco, Caroline, questions? Cuckoo. Francisco, Caroline, Judith, do you have a question? No? Okay, Judith says that no, and I'm sure you didn't have any question, Francisco and Caroline. You don't have a question either. So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. Okay, Francisco's typing. Yes, just some suggestions, okay? You need to write two things, Francisco. First, the need they have, if it is for professional, for learning, or for personal. Uh-huh. And then you need to give some suggestions. What kind of course they need to take? Okay, maybe one that is focused more in vocabulary, or maybe a course that can be online with online practices and so on. Okay, Francisco, and for you too, Caroline. Very nice. So you have 10 minutes to do it. Go ahead. Good luck. Okay, I have Francisco's answers. Very, very short. You don't have to write that much. This is just for practicing. Okay, so Francisco says Pilar needs personal need. Okay, so she is for her personality. Okay, doesn't have to do with profession or learning, willing to learning. Okay, she can take an English course for young learners, focus on develop basic skills. Okay, so he says that he needs to go through the basic stuff. Since the basic vocabulary, take a course with maybe a sweet teacher, maybe, right? So she teaches her the the basis of the language. Okay, now for Kula, needs is for professional need. She can take an online course on focus on banking English. Okay, so because maybe she's working, right? Maybe for her it's better to have an online course which is related to banking, to economy. Okay, very nice, Francisco. I agree with you. Okay, but I'm just going to wait for Judith and Caroline's answers. So don't worry, don't be under pressure. You still have like 2 minutes to finish it. So don't worry. 2 minutes, and then we will check. Okay, but very very nice answers, Francisco. Very nice. I'm happy. I think I agree with most of them. Okay, Judith told me that she got an important call and she didn't accomplish the exercise, but that's okay. I mean, remember, you need to follow your rhythm and so on, so no problems. Okay, now Caroline, she said that she agrees with Francisco. I will add for Kulab speaking practice. Okay, but maybe this is difficult, right? Because in an online course there is not much practice about speaking. Okay, so maybe that's okay for you, Caroline, but I'm not sure if it's suitable up online and an speaking practice. Maybe it will be very very difficult to combine both. Okay, very nice job, teachers. I'm very happy. Now I'm gonna give you the answers and exactly the time. I'm going to give you the answers for, or the possible answers proposed by Cambridge. Okay, first for Pilar. Pilar will probably need to develop her cognitive abilities in English through learning about the world. So, a course with a content based learning approach could be suitable for her at this stage. It seems she will also need to receive lots of praise and encouragement from her teacher, and that she may well learn best by reading and drawing. A course containing a reading element and kinesthetic activities will therefore be useful. It may be the later on Sorry, it might be that later on she will need English to communicate with friends internationally. Okay, so basically you paraphrase this, Francisco, because you're saying that she needs to learn since the basis, right? And how children learn since the basis? By playing, by drawing, okay, by doing all these content based activities. Okay, so they need to be based on a syllables, and use the creativity and so on. Okay, so very nice, Caroline and Francisco. Now I'm gonna read for Kula. Needs to learn banking English. She needs to learn to understand people from all over the world speaking in English. So that means professional. She will also need to learn many expressions of politeness and firmness to use on her phone conversations. Professional too. Okay, she needs lots of practice in speaking and probably in working collaboratively with others in an evening class. The best course for her might be a specialist on focusing on call center language for dealing with bank clients. So in this case, Francisco, to take an online course will be good, okay, because then she will receive the vocabulary and so on. But remember that she says that she needs speaking. So why not having a late class, maybe in the evening, okay, and yes, to work with the speaking and also collaboratively, because as this is professional, okay, maybe she needs to have some calls or they need to do some dialogues with other teachers or students or bankers and so on. Okay, so do you have a question or problems about this, about Pilar and Kulap, teachers? Is that crystal clear? Remember, this is just an extra exercise. So don't pressure yourselves if you feel that it's not very comprehensible. Very good, Francisco. Thank you very much. It's clear. Now, let's go with the real test. Okay, and this is the last. I promise. I will leave you alone. You can rest and you can sleep well. Okay, this is the last topic. Sample test. From questions from 1 to 5, choose the best option, A, B, or C, to complete each statement about learner's needs. Okay, so in this case, you need to think what kind of classes, what kind of techniques, activities, and so on will be good for them. Okay, because they need it. For example, one, Bernardo keeps quiet most of the time because he hates making mistakes. He needs, and you will say, because he hates making mistakes. You need to focus on your keywords: accuracy practice, paraphrasing techniques, or confident building. This is a little bit more cognitive, teachers. You need to be in the context. Maybe you need to think about your student. Maybe you have a similar student like Bernardo. Maybe you have students that hate talking because they don't want to make mistakes. So how did you deal with this student? Maybe did you taught them to teach them speak English well, with all the grammar rules, with all the pronunciation, or paraphrasing techniques so that he can use with other words, or confidence building. Okay, to tell them that don't worry, you can do well, nothing happens if you make a mistake. Okay, so this is very contextualized. Got it? So tell me, teachers, do you have a question about this? If not, you can start. You have 10 minutes to do it. No questions? Very nice. 10 minutes maximum. Go ahead. Good luck. Who did this time? I will ask you to do it, please. It's important because this is the sample test. This is more important than the previous one. Oh, so fast, Caroline. Very nice. And you did it in 3 minutes. I think you want to be out. You want to be out earlier. Nah, that's okay. Okay, so very nice. All right. It seems to be good, huh? Seems to be good. Mm-hmm. Okay, very nice, very nice. They seem very nice, Caroline. But anyway, let's wait for your colleagues to finish, and later on we will check. But they seem to be very nice. Okay, Francisco, very nice. You also have your answers, which are very similar to Caroline's ones. Okay, the only difference, number one, it's C for her, and for you, it's A. For you, it's more important to talk to him about accuracy rather than confidence. Could be. Two is B for you both. Three, it's C. And four for you, Caroline, is C. And for Francisco, is B. Mhm. She still makes some elementary mistakes in writing. She needs, according to you, Caroline, is for its grammar rules, and for you, Francisco, it's peer correction. I don't know. It's because Caroline, it's not specifying that they are mistakes of grammar. Maybe it's about lexis. Maybe it's about spelling. But Francisco, I'm not totally sure about yours either because it says peer correction, which means like very quickly. I don't know. Let's see. And finally, number five, you both got A, training in autonomy. Okay, very nice. So I'm just waiting for Judith's answers. We still have 3 minutes. And as soon as she gives me hers, we can start checking. Okay. Okay, she's sending her answers. Very nice. So for Judith, one is C, the same as Caroline. Two A, the same. No, she has a different one. She says pronunciation. Okay, because he says Chin's grammar and vocabulary good, but he speaks very hesitantly. He needs, okay, so remember, hesitate has to do with pronunciation or with fluency. Let's check this out. Number three, it's C for you three. So maybe I can infer that you three are correct or you three are wrong. Okay. Number four for her is A. Okay, all of you got a different one in number four. Okay, and finally five, you got the three A. Let's see the real answers. So good luck, everybody. Number one, it's C. Congratulations, Judith and Caroline. That's his confidence building. Yes, Francisco, I totally agree with you that accuracy is good. Okay, but I think the first step that you need to do with this kind of students, Francisco, is to create a confident environment to tell him like, don't worry, you can do it. Okay, obviously you need to correct his mistakes, but first you need first before you can start correcting, he needs to express himself. He needs to play with the language so that he can gain this confidence. And obviously you as a teacher, you will say, okay, you are doing well, you are doing better this time, and so on. Okay. In number two is fluency activity. So congratulations, Caroline and Francisco. Why it's fluency? Because he says hesitation. The problems of pronunciation, as the name says, is when you don't speak the words properly. You don't say the words properly. But fluency has more to do with that you continue speaking and speaking and speaking without hesitate that much. We saw that in the fluency in speaking, right? We saw this in speaking. Okay, number three, it's C. So correct, you three guys. Thank you very much. Get it writing activities, okay? Because the problem is writing, no pronunciation, no grammar, it's writing. Okay, number four, it's proofreading techniques. Okay, what is proofreading? You forgot it. Remember, when we talk about writing, proofreading means to recheck what you have done. Check your mistakes, check your grammar so that you can get a final text. Okay, so it doesn't have to be with peer correction because peer correction is like that at the moment, and that's it. Grammar rules maybe, but the context doesn't say, as I was telling you, Caroline, the context is not telling me that it's a grammar. Maybe it's a spelling mistake. Okay, maybe he doesn't know how to write the words, or he always misses a word, and so on. Uh-huh. So the correct answer in this case is proofreading, because in this case is when you need to check. Uh-huh. And he makes if he makes mistakes, it's because he doesn't have he checked that much. Okay, and finally, number five, it's training autonomy. Okay, so you got the majority of them, I think. For example, Caroline, you got one, two, three. Yeah, Francisco, you got 3 out of 5. So that means that you are good. You need to be well prepared because remember that I want you to get the highest grade. I want you to get the band number 4. That will be awesome, right? But anyway, you are doing your best. And I think, Caroline, you got one. I think you got 4. Very nice, Caroline. 4 out of 5. I think so. And you could eat, you also got one, two, three, 4. So very nice. You are between 3 and 4. That means that you are understanding and you have a good knowledge of the language and a good knowledge about what I'm teaching you. You just need to work a little bit more, maybe with more exercises. Remember, this is called teacher needs. So if you want to know more about this topic, maybe you can Google it. Okay, because of time, I cannot provide you that much readings and so on, but you can prepare yourselves more. And also, I'm going to be uploading the the quiz until you finish part number 2. Okay, remember that you have a quiz there in Edmodo. You have until Thursday to answer. Okay, so maybe on Thursday or on Friday, I'm going to be uploading the next quiz. Okay. Very nice, teacher. So I am very thankful for having you tonight. Okay, it was a very nice class. And with this, we are done with learning. So on Wednesday, we're going to start working on teaching. So I'm going to leave you a reading, a very interesting reading in Edmodo about methods. We're going to start talking about methods. And there is another topic that is called Well, there's another topic that is similar to methods that we're talking about introductory activities and so on. So it's going to be very, very nice because now we're not going to focus on learners. We're going to focus on ourselves as teachers. Okay. So please do not miss the Wednesday's class because it's going to be fundamental for you. Okay. So thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Thanks for being with me tonight and see you on Wednesday. Read the text, please, and do your quiz as soon as possible. Goodbye. Have a nice evening. Rest. You too, Francisco. Have a nice beginning of week. Goodbye.